one of the things that we want to talk about first is hiring that trustworthy contractor. So Kentucky consumers can protect themselves from scams or poor workmanship by hiring a county licensed contractor. Okay, they are trained professionals who answer to the local government. Now, we know that some counties in Kentucky have to have more requirements. Our counties in our areas are not part of that. So we have to do a little bit more research and a little bit more education on knowing what we need. A complication for many homemakers, however, is that Kentucky is a minority of states that does not require all general contractors, meaning builders make repairs that do not involve plumbing or electrical work, such as roofing, to be licensed or registered. So they don't have to be. And then the state of Kentucky, however, does require that plumbers, electricians, HVAC, repair professionals have some sort of licensing before performing work at home. So in a nutshell, we want to make sure that we are checking thoroughly with our contractor. We're making sure that they have the proper insurance, that they have the contracts that they need. And, we can also make sure of doing this by contacting your Better Business Bureau. You can contact the Attorney General's office. They can help you find out what information is needed. So you can also take bids for a contractor, just like you would anything else. You are going to interview your contractor. So you're going to take bids, see which one is the more realistic. The money of what they're asking for the cost could vary. It could be from one end to the other spectrum. So you want to make sure that, of course, you're getting the best out of all the bids. And it may include money, it may include experience, it may include, the fact that they have their licensings and everything that they need. So you're going to definitely check those out and make sure that the information they give you also matches up. So if they give you a license, you can check and make sure that that license, measures up to what. And don't consider hiring any builder that misrepresents the licensing number. A recommendation is that can be especially helpful is check with other people that have used them. If you have a neighbor, if you have a friend, check with them and see, hey, did they do a good job? Did they finish? What were the goods and the bads with them? And hopefully there won't be any bads, but you want to make sure. And then again, you can check with the Home Builders Association. Many people have memberships through that, and that actually gets their name out there as well. And then that they're telling the truth. If So to ensure that you have everything that you need on the contract, you want to make sure it lists the contractor's name, business address, and phone number, and also their license number. You also want to make sure it lists the payment schedule for the contractor, subcontractors, which means the people coming in to work under the contractors, and your supplies. You also want to make sure it lists the payments to the contractor that you get them to them upon meeting scheduling and building goals. And then also the expected project start date and finish date. Again, estimate cost of the project and what is covered by that cost. Any obligations of the contractor to obtain permits. And then how changes of the original planned work and contract will be handled. These are all part of what your contract should say. Names and addresses of those who will be working with any suppliers, the warranties on things, workmanship, as well as the length of the warranties. And then details about who is responsible for worksite cleaning up. And some other things that you'll want to look into also is how are they going to dispose of the materials that they take out of the place that you're having worked on. So will they bring in a big dumpster? What will happen there? And then when will that be emptied? So you need to know those things. And then also, this is very important, there needs to be a statement for your right to cancel the contract at any time. You want to make sure that's definitely on there. So if you're not happy, you can cancel the whole thing and go find you somebody else. You know, once the project is complete, just before you sign off on all of it, you want to make sure that you ask yourself, did the work performance match your specific standards and do you approve it? Were all supplies and workers paid for? Was the work site cleaned up? Do you have copies of the warranty information? And if you can answer yes to all of those questions, then your project can be complete. If you don't answer yes to one of them, make sure it gets done before you sign off on anything, before you give a final payment, anything like that. So when talking about building codes and permits, you first must be aware of local building and zoning codes. Now, if the codes have recently changed without your builders or your knowledge, your project may be in violation of local law. So you want to check on that. So to protect yourself from each obstacle, you and your builder should review the most recent building codes. And there is a Division of Building Codes enforcement website that you can go to on Kentucky.gov. Many repairs that involve structural change to the home may need building permits before the project can be completed. So making sure that you're up to date on those codes is really important. Contractors usually will have those permits, and you just need to make sure you check with them on the liability and what those permits consist of. So any natural disasters, which we hope there aren't any, but sometimes there are, in the event of a sudden natural disaster, homeowners do not have as much time to plan for repairs or follow proper guidelines. So it's important that you typically, when there is a disaster like this, you are just looking for someone to come in and help that disaster. Now, a lot of times it works out great, sometimes it doesn't. This is also a time when you can contact your office of the Attorney General's office, and they have a disaster program that they help with on homeowners when they're going through such a time that was unexpected. So to future protect homeowners from scams, Kentucky lawmakers enacted the Storm Chaser legislation effective July 2012. This law requires contractors performing roofing repairs to give consumers their mailing address and phone numbers along with any other information. Roofers, they must then notify homeowners to their rights should the contract need to be canceled. Owners have the right to cancel a contract at any building project within 5 days if they receive notice that their insurance will not fully cover the repairs. That's something very much people don't think about at times, but you do have a 5-day window. Contractors cannot ask for advancement payments within those initial 5 days, unless the repairs must be performed without delay to prevent any foreseeable more damage or injury done. And it's not illegal for contractors to attempt to entice businesses by offering a pay the insurance deductible or by offering expensive gifts. So anytime a consumer is coping with a natural disaster, you also can find more information on our University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension website, and there are links for disaster recovery on there. The last thing I want to talk about is filing a complaint. So if you are victimized by a contractor who is deceitful, immediately file a complaint against him or her. Some agencies may try to rectify actions. Others will keep the complaint on file for future potential clients from hiring the builder. But be aware, however, that the contractor may simply change their business name to avoid any other issues. So these are things we really can't help. We try to, Kentucky homeowners can go to the following agencies to file a complaint. They can, of course, go to the Attorney General's office. They work diligently to stop some of this from going on. Also, there is the Department of Housing, Building, and Construction website. There is the Home Builders Association of Kentucky, and then your local licensing board in your community. So all of those things can help if you have any issues. Hopefully, though, we won't have issues. We will be able to build a home or redo a building or something like that with no issues at all. But there are so many things that happen and go wrong that they can go right as well. So making sure that you do the basis of all of this, and hopefully you'll be able to get that contractor that does a great job for you. I'm Amanda Hardy at the local extension office. Just give any of your offices a call and we'll be glad to help you with any of this information. Thank you.